Here with the cockpit kit for the ESM Corsair offered by VQ Models. I will go over how I install that cockpit kind of quickly, kind of show you how it goes in. Anyway, when you get your Corsair, the first thing you have to do is have to remove the cockpit area. There happens to be a former right dead, almost, well, just a little bit further back than halfway in the cockpit area. What we have to do first is remove the this whole area that's in there. What I did to start off with, I took a piece of 1/4 inch balsa. This is a 1/4 by 1/8 by chance. I take it in here and I lay it in place where it actually touches. It's flush with the fuselage sides here, and the fuselage bows just a little bit there, so that's fine. And draw a line on the inside. I do that for the other side. And then I take a Dremel tool with a cutoff wheel and I very carefully cut up each side. I cut across the back and I cut across the bottom here where it's got the false dash. Once I get that cut out, I come back in here and I make sure that I have removed any of the this back piece here that starts to move forward. Then I come in here and I cut away the dash. Now I leave it flush with this piece that comes forward and I cut all but about a 1/16 out. Now once again, that former is in there and you can see it's on the bottom of the piece I cut out. You have to cut that former and just cut it where it goes straight down on both sides. I also remove the piece that holds the push rod and just lay it in the bottom. We'll re-glue it to the side below the cockpit later. Anyway, once you clean all this out, the cockpit's ready to be installed. The first thing we have to do to install the cockpit is we're going to trial fit everything. You have a the headrest area here. When you get it, it will have flashing all the way around it. I leave the bottom. I very easily cut it all the way around the top here, and we'll end up cutting a little bit more off this later and smoothing it up. But anyway, once you get all that flashing cut, it comes down here and it just barely makes an indentation and goes straight down. What we do back at that indentation, we come in here and take a square and just take a straight line where the indentation starts to go back in and draw a straight line on each side. Once you draw that straight line on each side, you come in here and come down 1/8 inch, and we're in about a 1/4 inch, and just relieve about an 1/8 inch piece. What this does, it allows it to slide in at the fuselage back here. So this piece, we're going to trial fit it. We're just going to lay it in place. We'll take a piece of tape and hold it in place. See, it just slides in there. Let me see, make sure you can see. Slides in there, and it just slides across. Now, it comes all the way back, and now temporarily we're going to hold this in place. Eventually, now you want it to be centered. Eventually we'll clean this up to match the fuselage all the way around. But that's just going to be held on there temporarily. And we're going to push that all the way back in. Then we're going to move to the cockpit floor and sides. When you get it, the floor and sides are all one piece. I tried to make this easy where it snaps together pretty quickly. What you have to do is take it, it'll be flat. You'll see a V on the bottom. You'll see a V on the bottom here. You just grab that with, I got a wide set of pliers. You can do it with individual pliers and just kind of crimp your way across there and crease that. You do that to both sides. This makes your walls for your cockpit. Next thing you have to do is come in here and take a small pair of scissors and cut an indentation in each side. You can see what this does, it lets this go up on those sides we left on the cockpit deck. Alright, now once this is done, like I said, we're trial fitting. You may have to relieve just a tad on the front because it's a pretty tight fit in the area there. So let's see, I'm going to pull the fuselage over here, or get over here where you can see me install this. We have to come up from the bottom. Oops. Coming up from the bottom. reach in here and pinch both, just pull both sides together. We pull this up and just pull these over the sides there. Okay, now you can see that that pulls right in place. It locks right up against the backrest here. Once you put a bead of glue around that, that'll be nice and sturdy. It won't, I mean, it'll make you a good, strong area there. All right, once that's installed, we're going to take the instrument panel, cut it out, remove all the excess flashing around it. We want it to go straight back. One thing I do, because this stands alone pretty much the inside here, take a piece of 4-inch wide, or it can be 2-3 inches glued together. And what you do is try to take this and lay it down on that piece of balsa and make you a pattern. Cut it out, and we just want to lightly glue that glue it to the inside. You can use CA, that'll be fine, and glue it in there. That just gives it a little bit of rigidity. All right, what we're going to do is take this. What this does, it comes in and it locks right into our cockpit kit here. So I'm going to come in from the bottom, and it just, I think you can see that, it just comes right up into place there. So that, you see how easily that is put in. So now that we make sure, and you just have to make sure this lip's gone away enough that you can pull that cockpit deck or the instrument panel up there and see it, and make sure it looks pretty decent there. All right, now everything appears to be trial fitted. Like I'll show you back here. You can see that we have an overhang here, and before we glue this piece in, we're going to take this and take a pencil and mark it and trim all this excess away. I made it a little big just for that purpose. Another thing is, let's see here. Once you get that trimmed, I was going to tell you, the canopy will come back over, and you still have a little bit. Even if you cut a little bit too much, the canopy comes a little bit forward here, and it will cover up anything, and you won't be able to see it anyway. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this real quick. I'm going to show you how to install the fuselage sides. All right, there are two consoles, one on each side of the fuselage. Let's see here. You got one on each side. When you get them, they'll kind of look like, they won't have the marks on them, but you'll see that I marked what needs to be cut away. So what you do is you take this and you cut the sides away, and this is the console. That's the left console, and this is the right console. Now, what I've done, I've made these where they fit right up against the stringers here. You come in here, and this will glue right up against that, right up against there, okay? What you need to do is when you cut it, make sure you cut this pretty straight across here. You need to cut this back to where you do have this have it flat and no lip hanging down there, because this will be glued to the base. What you have to do is, this is 7/8 inch wide here, so you come across and you draw a line 7/8 inch down all the way across. And what happens is, when this is glued into place, and then when you rotate this up, this other piece is glued right on that line. That will make sure it's pretty well boxed. And you can tell once you get it up there if that's going to be pretty square for you. All right, what we'll do is we'll glue that in place, and then come along to the other side and do the same thing. This piece, it fits right up against the stringers. Come up here, glue that along the top first, then pull this in, and it should meet close to that line there, and glue into place. That's your basic cockpit and the consoles installed. Okay, what I'm going to do now is, what I would generally do is, let me just get it set up, and we'll go from there, and I'll be right back.